All right, so officially welcome to our workshop, Tools for Technological Triumph. What we're going to be doing today is it's a little bit of a basic workshop, but I think it's helpful just to get familiar with some of the tools that we're going to use. Some of them are applications, and some of them are going to be online platforms that I'm going to walk us through. It's going to be beneficial if you can follow along on your end. And so if you can sort of put the Zoom screen off to the side and then follow along the
Screen.
steps
So
along the way. Exactly. And then you can sort of be like, okay, we're here. I'm here too. Okay, I actually followed along. I opened that up too. Do you have a Mac or something else?
I have a HP.
Great. So we are on the same kind of computer, so things will look similar. For people who are going to be watching this later using a Mac, I'll try to drop in some Mac language along the way because I personally own a Mac, but I'm using a Dell
Yeah.
technology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to keep my screen shared for the duration of the workshop, again, just so that you can sort of see what we're doing here. So before we do anything else, obviously this is my computer background. Mandy, can you see my screen okay? Super duper. And what you want to first of all be familiar with is how to get to your internet, how to get to your folders, and then how to get to anything else that's open on your screens. So there should be at the bottom, like that start menu and all of these different apps. We see those down there. And I use the abbreviation apps, but it stands for applications. I will probably slip and say apps for the rest of the workshop just because, well, I am a millennial, so we'll use that terminology. Something that's helpful is to just pin items to your taskbar. So if you have like Internet Explorer, that's an old one, sorry, Microsoft Edge. Oh my goodness, dating myself. As I just said, I was a millennial.
Yeah.
Oh man. Safari, whatever it is. So if you either use your mouse right click or if you have a touchpad two finger tap, you can tap on something and then I already have this pinned, but there would be an option to pin it to the taskbar. So for things like your internet browser, Microsoft Word, maybe PowerPoint, things that you access frequently, it's nice if you can go ahead and just pin them to your toolbar right here so that they're easily accessible. And I like to do that because I don't like to have to go hunting for things. I like them to be right there. Now, you notice, again, I don't have anything open yet except for Zoom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open first my internet browser, which in my case is Microsoft Edge. Some other common platforms that you might be using are Chrome. If you're using a Mac, you're probably using Safari or Chrome. Firefox is still sort of floating out there. Internet Explorer isn't really as much in use anymore, but those are some of the most common ones. You might be using something like DuckDuckGo. Those are all explorers, search engines that you can use, and they'll be able to get to where we need to go. Once I have that open, I'm going to go ahead and go to LBC's website. So I'm going to type in lbc.edu. Now, you may have noticed on my first page that I have a whole bunch of things pinned to the top of my screen, a whole bunch of favorites, things that I access frequently. You can do the same thing. So if you're trying to help yourself be just a little bit more efficient as you're navigating, once you get familiar with some things that you access more frequently, like maybe Canvas or the library homepage, you can go up to, and again, in whatever browser I'm using, Internet Explorer, it's not in Edge. They look exactly the same. In Edge, you can click on the favorites bar and then just tell it, yes, I want to add it to my favorites bar and click on that button or hit this button right here and it'll add it to your favorites bar along with everything else. I like that short, again, it's a shortcut. It's just something nice to help us all just be just a little bit faster, a little bit more efficient. How you feeling so far, man? You tracking all right?
I got all of them already up there. I got
Love
my
it.
MLAAP, my calendar, my basic search of gal,
Love it.
and dashboard, everything.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, once we're here, what I'm primarily going to be focusing on is using Canvas and then Microsoft Word and how those interplay well with each other. Both of those are accessible from the student portal, which is on the top left-hand side. Student portal is definitely something that you can bookmark as a favorite. This is where all of your most happiest shortcuts are going to be from. So we see Canvas over here. We've got the library, Ally Services, where you can schedule an appointment with one of us at the Ally Services. You can access your textbooks over here, anything to do with paying tuition, financial aid, tech support, it's all here. Now, what we're especially concerned about today is Canvas and Word. So I'm going to first go to Canvas, and I am going to open this in a new tab instead of just opening it right here. So notice what I did is I did a 2-finger tap, and then I'm going to open this link in a new tab. I do that a lot if I want to be able to go back to a tab easily, and I don't want to have to like go back to the very, very beginning and just sort of go to an intermediary step. You could just click on the link though, and sometimes it'll take you right there into a new space. Now for each person, you're going to, whenever you enter Canvas, you're going to have classes right there. Going to take us into one of the classes that I'm teaching this subterm, and I'm going to click view as student so that we can play around a little bit here. Now Canvas is obviously where all of the things happen, right? So we have some very handy things like announcements. Your professor should be posting at least twice in the week with at least one kind of intro announcement to the week, and then some kind of follow-up announcement. Sometimes they'll post additional resources or whatnot. It's very important that you stay abreast of whatever's being posted in the announcements forum. I know just this past week, we had an announcement in my class saying, hey, we're not going to be meeting on Monday because, well, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We're going to be meeting on Tuesday. And so keeping track of those announcements is very, very helpful. Of course, once you're in, you have a lot of places you can go to look for assignments and where assignments are due. And this can be kind of complex. Manny, can you attest to the fact that it can be kind of complex to figure out where things are and when things are due and what's going on and whatnot? It's a little bit complex.
And I wanted to say, this one I had an issue with, and you gave me a mark on it, and granted, this is the question I had to come here.
Yeah.
When we have discussions, you said I didn't have enough discussions. What did you mean by that?
Oh, yep. And so for discussions, usually in the assignment description, there is a statement of how many replies you need to give to people. And let me know if I missed anything, because sometimes in Canvas, if you just comment on a post instead of replying, then it's not going to track it. I won't see it. So let me know if I missed something. I'd be happy to regrade it for you. I will definitely demonstrate the discussion reply versus comment.
Because I did comment on everybody's, because when I saw somebody that didn't have one, I felt bad. And that's
perfect.
I wanted to give them love.
I love it. This is actually really good because a lot of people will make the it's unfortunate because it looks like it should be the right spot to reply, but they will comment instead of reply, and Canvas doesn't register it. So whenever I'm looking at your grades, and it'll say, hey, here are all of the posts for Manny, for Dolores, for Regina, and it'll have all of your posts, but it won't show your comments.
Oh, because I was like, I thought I replied to.
I thought I replied. And by the way, for everybody who's listening now or later, if there's ever something like that where you're like, I don't know why I got points off of that for that assignment, always please reach out to your professors. We always are happy to explain, and it may end up being a situation like this where we're like, oh, he did deserve full credit on that submission. What do you know? So never be afraid to ask. So we're going to pin discussion forum that for just a second. We are going to come back to it. I want to first of all just to give like an overview of ways to see what's due. So first of all, you can see on the right-hand side of the screen here, you have things like assignments that are due. You have the discussion forums that are due. And that's great. That can be helpful. Sometimes though, it doesn't give you a full picture of everything, and it's just sort of like a running list. For me, that's not always as helpful. Something else you can do is inside the course schedule, you can click week by week. So if I click on week 2, you can see all of the things that are due this week. And of course, you can just click and go one from the next to the next to the next. And that's certainly an option for you as well. Something else you can do, again, just throwing out options here, is you can go over to the assignments submenu. And right now, the assignments are showing by date for most students. That's how it's automatically going to show up. And upcoming assignments, things that I haven't completed yet as the test student, are going to be displayed as, hey, these things are coming up. This, again, isn't bad. I don't mind this format. Something else that's helpful, though, is if you go over here on the left into the calendar. For the calendar, you can select whatever classes that you're taking. And then right now we're looking at the month view, and it'll show you a bigger picture of what's due when. And so you'll see that, okay, so I have this discussion forum initial post that's due today. Everything else is going to be due on Saturday. Okay. And then I can see, okay, our class is scheduled for Monday at 2:30. Discussion forum post, initial one is due by Wednesday. Everything else is due by Saturday. I kind of like this because for my brain, I like to see the bigger picture and I like to be able to sort of categorize things. You can try sorting it by week. The problem with sorting by week is that it's going to look very empty because it it has all the hours listed. And so you're going to have to scroll all the way down to 11:59 p.m. and all of those assignments are squashed together right there, which isn't very helpful. I don't think so. I personally don't find this to be a helpful layout. Some people do like the agenda view. So if you click on the agenda view, it'll lay out kind of similarly to that upcoming assignments format, but it'll have the dates in there as well, which I do kind of like. Again, I like playing around with a calendar format. The other thing that's nice about this is that if you are a person who kind of likes to have things on pen and paper, you can print these pages, right? Whether you're on this view or if you're on the month view, you can print this out and then you can sort of cross things out as you go. What's nice as well is that if this was real students, you would see things that are crossed off because they would have been completed. And so as you complete them, Canvas will automatically take them off of your calendar. How are we feeling so far, Manny?
Great.
Love it. So those are some ways that we can sort of see, hey, what's coming up. Once you decide, I'm going to do this assignment, let's go ahead and click on this discussion forum here. And it does allow you to select into the assignment from that screen. So if you want, you can do that. Now, in order to contribute, I need to have a post. So I'm going to, this is a sample post. I hope that it'll let me see student replies. If not, then I'm going to have to exit the student view. Okay, great. So once you are in the forum and you have access, now this isn't a problem as much with just text-based submissions. However, I'm actually going to hit the reply overall button again. I'm going to insert something from Canvas Studio so we can see what it looks like with a video. Oh, and see, it's not going to let me do it. It's okay. Cancel. And we'll need to exit student view and post as me. Apply. Canvas Studio. Let's see what's one short. Great. We'll do this one. This old video. Okay, embed. We'll wait a hot second for that to load. It's loaded. Okay, now I'm going to hit reply, and that would be my first post. Now, for a video post, again, this is really tricky. It's very tricky. It's obnoxious. You have both the comment space and the reply. If you comment, Canvas won't pick it up.
Okay.
you would need to reply in order for Canvas to log it as an actual reply to somebody's post.
Got it.
Up, down.
Got it in my pocket now.
In your pocket. Pull it out, run it up the flagpole. See how it flies. Now, if it's a text-based post, you only have the option to reply or to like, which makes it a little bit easier. So that's that. Actually, I will take this moment to walk through this. Whenever you're doing videos and trying to put them into Canvas, it is easier to either record directly from Canvas Studio or to load a video into Canvas Studio and then reply like I did for my post right here. I did it from Canvas Studio. If you do it from Canvas Studio, then it will embed instead of you having to download. And so if you're in Canvas Studio, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. I do have a separate workshop that's all about how to record different elements. But over here on the top right-hand corner, you can do studio capture, and that will be a screen recording, or add media if you've recorded something somewhere else. And then you'll be able to add it either to a discussion forum or to an assignment through Canvas Studio. Any questions before we move on to other things?
And I hear you have a YouTube channel that goes over some of this stuff also.
Yep. And so all of our, I will go ahead and I'll just type it in right now. So if you are in YouTube and you are on the Ally Center page, which I'll take us to the direct link later, but I'll just show what that looks like since you asked. We have all of these different videos. Some of the most recent ones are posted at the top, both. So for some reason, I'm not sure why, but the top three, the three most recent ones are all from me. So I have the three ones at the top left over here. Lights, Camera, Record is the one that I created that's on how to record stuff. So whether it's through Zoom, Canvas Studio, PechaKucha, PowerPoint Record, I went through all of those. So I will come back to this page later, so I'm going to leave it up, but that's our YouTube page, Ally Center, LBC. Okay. So that's one way that you will interact with Canvas, is you'll be replying to posts, whether it's initial discussion posts or other posts. For things like attendance, so I'm going to, again, enter student mode, view as student. So like for the participation report, and many of you have already done this, but I just wanted to showcase that this type of submission is a text entry. So you're not attaching anything, you're not inserting anything, you're just writing something like attended. And then you're submitting, and it's just submitting a text box. And that's all you need to do. That's always nice. If you are ever typing up something, whether it's for a discussion forum post or for something like this, if it's longer, you may want to consider typing it in a Word document or something else first and then copying and pasting it over, just because sometimes the internet does crazy things and you don't want it to restart and then for you to lose all of the work that you've done on it. So just food for thought there. For the most part, what you're going to be doing whenever you're interacting with Canvas is you're going to be attaching documents. And I feel like this is always the bane of student existence, where you're like, I can't find my document. I swear that I saved it and it's not there. I uploaded a different version, and so the document I uploaded is blank. I uploaded a prior version, and so this is the updated one. And so I just want to take us through some additional tools. I'm going to introduce some additional apps that may help the process go a little bit smoother. So whenever you are, nope, that's the discussion forum. You don't need that. Whenever you're doing documents, first of all, I do know that some people like Google Docs or Pages or something else. I don't have anything inherently against those platforms. It's just that Canvas doesn't like them. It doesn't play well with them. It works best with Microsoft Word. And so even if you're used to those other platforms, we're going to be encouraging you. And of course, you have access to Microsoft Word through your LBC student account. And so we're giving you access to that platform. We encourage you to get used to it and start to use it. A lot of workplaces and even my church has started using the Microsoft suite for all of our volunteers. And so we're using all of their products through like Teams and OneDrive and Share, like all of the things. And so it's good to familiarize yourself with Word, whether you've done it before or not. So you're always going to hit Start Assignment, and then it'll take you right here. This is the screen where I usually am operating from, and most students are operating from, the file upload. Now, what's the problem? I don't have any files to upload yet because I haven't done anything in Microsoft Word. So I'm actually going to pause on this screen, and I'm going to go to Microsoft Word. Now, even if you have never done anything with Microsoft Word, it's not on your computer, you have access to it. Manny, do you know how to get to Microsoft Word through your LBC account online?
I think I do have it. It says on my OneDrive.
You can do it through OneDrive. And so I'll go ahead and talk through. So if you go back to the student portal.
Right.
And you click on the, go ahead.
I have it saved on my bar, so I have it.
Oh, well, Manny, you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game. Let me talk through it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. So for anybody who sees this later, the central button right here, Microsoft Online, will take you to your email. Now, from email on the left-hand side, you have all of these different applications. And right here, if I click on More Apps, because it doesn't appear as one of the things. More Apps, and I can click Go to Word from my email. Notice as well that I also have PowerPoint right here. So if you haven't used PowerPoint yet, it's also available right here. Manny, you mentioned OneDrive. OneDrive is also available right here. It's not in the More. For some reason, I have it just off to the side. Now I'm going to go to Word and open it up. Of course, if you have prior documents, you can always create a blank document if you don't have anything already started. Now, what I advise people to do is once you have a document that is set up with either MLA or APA or both, depending on what kind of classes you're taking, save it and then just start new files from that document. And again, we'll work through that in just a moment. Once you have your Word document, you can certainly edit it online. We talked actually just in one of our classes pretty recently about setting up your MLA formatting. I'm not going to belabor that point. We do have other workshops that are focused on MLA formatting. I'm just going to go ahead and throw some text on the screen so that I can show you just a couple of tricks in Microsoft Word, which might be familiar for you, but we will, I can't type and talk at the same time. Title. Okay. All right. So anytime you're inside Word, you'll notice probably that, especially if you're using it online, there's this little cloud and this little green check mark over here at the top left-hand corner. See that right over here? That means that it is saving automatically to OneDrive, which is great. So anything that I've done so far is automatically saving. Now, I've worked with a number of students who don't like to name their documents. And the problem with that is that, well, the document title right now is document 1. And unless you are really, really, really good with your brain, most people can't track what document 1 is, or document 21, or document 41, or document 301, right? So you start to lose track. So I recommend right away, as soon as you start your document, renaming your file. And I can just click right inside this box. Sample document 101. Sure. And then I can just click anywhere and it saves the new title, which is nice. And again, I do recommend strongly naming your documents, if only so that you can find them. And I do know I do know a number of students who have submitted doc 23, and I'm like, this is the wrong document. And then they submit doc 24, and I'm like, this is also the wrong document. And they're like, 25, and I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Don't ask me. And so naming your documents strategically is helpful. Of course, if you're working in like revising documents, sometimes it's helpful if you include the date. So if I was, and I do this all the time with like my Bible studies, because I'll work in a document and then I'll do revisions, but I kind of want to have access to the original one just in case. So I'll do sample document. Let's see, what's today? 21, 26. And I use the hyphens because Word likes hyphens. It doesn't like slashes. So it may not save the document. It'll say, you can't use those characters. So it likes hyphens. Sometimes it'll accept spaces instead if it's not accepting hyphens. So play around with yours, figure out what it accepts and what it doesn't. And so if you're creating multiple versions of it, you can check it out there. Now, if you are using Microsoft, anything, as long as you have access to it online and you don't have a really basic computer operating system, like if you have a like an iPad or a Google Chromebook, then you should be able to download the actual applications. So like right here, you can see that PowerPoint, the actual desktop application is there. I recommend downloading the applications for Word, OneDrive, and PowerPoint. What are those three things? So Word is the word processing unit. And like I use the word in the definition where you're actually typing things and submitting documents. PowerPoint is for presentations, and OneDrive is like the folder. And you're like, well, why do I need to have the folder? It'll help you out, promise, cross my heart, hope to live in heaven with Jesus forever whenever I die. Because sometimes if you just have it online, it doesn't talk well to your computer. And then you'll be trying to do things in Word and you won't be able to find where something's saved. And so if you just open a new tab on whatever your internet browser is and say OneDrive download, or Word download, or PowerPoint download, it'll guide you through the steps of downloading it as an actual application on your computer. And again, I do recommend doing that because, again, sometimes you'll try saving something and it'll go to OneDrive and then you can't find it. And you're like, where is it? Where did it go? And it's there somewhere. And it's just your computer and Canvas and OneDrive are just, there's something missing. And so this can be a step that'll help you to circumvent that error. Any questions before I continue forward, Manny?
So I just download it and then I look under my downloads and then I transfer it over because I have the internet. So I've been pretty good on this basics. So I'm tracking what you're saying right now. And I just looked under my PowerPoint and I do have that downloaded. So we're good there too.
Super duper. And what you just mentioned, so if you have a document, so let's say that let's do a couple more changes here. So if I highlight the entire thing, and I recommend as well, so I just used a shortcut, Control A, to highlight the whole document. You don't have to learn shortcuts. However, if you do learn shortcuts like Control A for all, highlight the whole thing, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, you'll just get faster. And again, it's about becoming proficient and efficient. We want to be able to save time on the things that are easy so that you can save all your brain dollars for the things that are harder. And so if you can just become faster at some of the things like highlighting the entire document, you don't have to spend your time going click, drag. Oh, I didn't get the whole thing. Hold on, click. Oh no, hold on. And because I've done that. And so if you can just do, Control A, boom. whole thing's highlighted, and I didn't even have to think about it because it's just muscle memory at this point. Just want to highlight briefly, we have a couple of different menus that are going to be especially helpful. The menus are all here at the top. Most of the changes that you make in Microsoft Word are going to be from the home menu. You may, so things like changing the font size, or the alignment or spacing, those are all going to be from the home menu. I'm not going to make those changes right now, just highlighting that's where they live. You may go into the insert menu. There are going to be a few things that are helpful here. First of all, we have our page number. Talked about doing that for our MLA header. And of course, you can type your name there. If you need to enter the header and footer, this button, header and footer, will open that for you. The other thing that's useful in this menu is the page break. Whenever you're doing assignments that require a works cited page, you want to insert a page break instead of hitting enter, 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 because Canvas doesn't like us and it will distort your formatting if you just hit enter, enter, enter. So you want to make sure you insert that page break. Page breaks live in the insert menu. It may not be on this side. For yours, it may be somewhere more toward the middle or on the right side. All you're looking for is page break, or it may say break, and you'll have to select what kind of break or what kind of insert do you want, and then you'll select page break, and it'll pop it down to a new page right away, which is exciting. The other menu that you may want to go to is the view menu. Really, the only thing that I do in the view menu is the ruler. I've mentioned in my classes previously that I love living with the ruler on. I live for the ruler. The ruler is my guide in life whenever I'm in Microsoft Word. It allows me to just make sure everything's lined up correctly. And so I always have the ruler turned on. You turn it on in the view menu. Any questions before we continue forward?
Nope, I'm right with you with the ruler.
Rocking and rolling. Now, if I want to see where something is saved, I can go to File. And okay, I can see, okay, this is auto-saved online to where? Documents. Okay, so if I click on Documents, it'll open in my OneDrive, and it'll show me, okay, this is where it's saving to. Now, if I wanted to save it somewhere else, so let's say that I opened this and I'm like, well, wait a second. Whenever I clicked on Documents, it took me to my files, but this is my personal OneDrive folder. It's not my LBC OneDrive folder, or whatever the case may be. I need to move this document. So I may say, hey, I need to either create a copy online. And so I may say, I want to save this to somewhere else. So instead of saving to Documents, maybe I want to save it to more saved locations. Save it to Bible study, or maybe I need to actually completely change the location here. Where's my files? Okay, come over here. And I may look around and say, oh, this is the right folder. So that can be helpful. Yep. You can also, if you need to, excuse me, whenever you're creating a copy, you can download a copy. And Manny, I don't know if this is what you were talking about when you were talking about downloading stuff. If you're creating something online, if you're ever having trouble because OneDrive is just not talking to your Word and you're like, I don't know where my document is, you can always download it to your computer and then upload it to Canvas from your computer, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to download a copy. And now remember, if you download a copy, once it's on your desktop, it's not saving automatically because it's no longer OneDrive, it's on your computer.
Correct.
Fine. That's totally fine. Just remember that if you make any changes, you will have to save it. And as a reminder, so I'm going to hit enable editing. If you make those changes, so let's say I wanted to change the font. See, it did not save automatically because autosave is off. Now, if I'm just going to make one change and then upload it, so I could hit Control S to save it. It's only saving to the PC, to the computer. It is not saving to OneDrive.
Right.
If I wanted to save it to OneDrive, I could turn autosave on. And it's asking me, hey, where do you want to save it to? I want to save these changes to OneDrive. And it's now uploading a copy to OneDrive. So now autosave is turned on.
Mine says it has two. You can save it to my OneDrive personal, or it says OneDrive LBC College.
Exactly. And so what I would do is I like to keep things very, very organized. So anything for school, I save it to my LBC account. Anything that's for my personal stuff, I save it to my personal account.
Right.
And that's helpful. Perfect. I have the same options. Look at us go, Manny.
Yeah.
Once you have it saved and it's happy and it looks good and you're like, beautiful, everything's fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and now I could either close out of this altogether, or if I'm like, you know what, I'm not completely sure I'm done with it, I'm just going to minimize it. The minimize button is a helpful little tool. So if I minimize this, it's not completely gone. I've only hidden it. Minimize means that I've hidden it. And so it'll still be open on the toolbar. So right here, if I highlight, you'll see that there's that little black dot underneath it to indicate that there's something in Word that is open. Now, I don't need this open, and I want to make sure that I can upload this upload this file. So I'm actually going to X out of it. Sometimes Canvas will not allow you to upload a file if it thinks that it's still in use. So sometimes if you're having trouble, you may need to actually close out of the file altogether and then go to Canvas to upload it.
Not that issue.
Yeah. There's so many little things that you never think about until you run into the problem. And you're like, oh, who would have thought? So I'm going to choose a file to upload. Now notice that I have a whole bunch of options here. What came up right away is downloads. So I could go from the downloads, or notice that I have both of my OneDrive accounts. I have my LBC one, and then for some reason, my personal one is duplicated. I have twice of myself. It's great. Double access. Beautiful. Notice that I have other places where things could be saved. Desktop, downloads, documents, pictures. Nothing is ever saved to my music. I don't have music on this computer. Screenshots. And so again, you really want to be thoughtful and just mindful whenever you're working in either Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, if you're doing screenshots, or if you're downloading like pictures from online because you're going to use them in your PowerPoint. Take note of, where is it downloading to? Where is this saving to? Where did I send this to? What's the location? Because otherwise you're going to be like, where's that picture that I just where's that picture that I just found? And then you're going to have to hunt for it, which is kind of a pain. And sometimes the search function doesn't really work. And especially if it's like a document that you've downloaded, or if it's a picture that you've downloaded, it's not going to have a proper name. And so you're going to be like, what is? So it behooves us to sort of pay attention as we're transferring files and as we're saving and downloading files. Is just take note of where they're downloading and saving to. So if I go to my OneDrive account, there is also, we can see a sample document right there. Of course, I did also download it. So I downloaded it and the sample document is there as well. And so I can do either one because I know that they're the same. So I'm going to hit open. It's not actually going to open. It's just going to upload it. Now, Manny, did I do enough? Did I complete this assignment?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. What did I not click?
Submit.
Submit. Yes, we have to make sure we get all the way to submit assignment and wait until you see that confetti popping up on the screen, the happy confetti and trophies appear. Then we can feel good about the fact that, okay, I have submitted the assignment. Now, if you have run into any problems with, let's say, your formatting getting distorted, or you're having troubles with OneDrive and it's not uploading the correct version, and your professor says something like, hey, it looks like you submitted a blank document, and you start to get nervous about what your professor is seeing after you've uploaded it, you can click on Submission Details. And then View Feedback. This is also, by the way, how you would view the feedback from your professor after they've given you feedback. But even before they give you feedback, you can click view feedback. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to see what your professor sees. So whenever I open this up, I notice, of course, I didn't add it, but I don't have any header over here. And I'm pretty sure that I had a paragraph indent. There's no paragraph indent now. So for some reason, in transit, Canvas just deleted my paragraph indent. Rude. And so what I might do is I might add a comment to my professor and say, hey, I just noticed that Canvas deleted my first paragraph indent. I promise I have one. And then hit save. And then whenever I go as your professor to look at your file, I'm like, oh, okay, got it. So if I was grading this for MLA formatting, I'm not going to take points off because you said, hey, I did have it, promise, cross my heart, hope to live in heaven with Jesus forever whenever I die. I had it, but Canvas just deleted it. And me personally, as a professor's, from a professor's perspective, is that too many P words? I'm going to take the fact that you took the time to check your document and then to add a comment that you probably did in fact have a paragraph indent, right? Like I'm not going to be like, well, prove it to me. I'm just going to say on good faith, okay, you probably that's probably true, and I'm not going to take points off for it. I'm just going to assume, okay, thank you for letting me know, and I'm just going to keep rolling.
Yeah, and that's what I saw with my document. I was all like, when I saw my document that I gave to you, I noticed that you gave me the feedback the first time because it popped up.
Yeah.
But then the second time when I went to go and say, because the first time I looked at it, I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. But then, you know, you only learn from your mistakes. So, okay, so I want to know what I did wrong now. And after I wiped my tears, no. And so, but no, then I went back into it. And I'm like, I knew it was right here somewhere. So
Yes.
looking at the document, I was saying, well, maybe it's under feedback. Boom.
Yep.
There it was.
There it is. And just so everybody knows, once you submit your document, the one that you will be able to see is whatever's most recent. So if you submit something and then I grade it and I give you feedback, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to submit a new one, and you resubmit the document with changes, then you can only see the most recent one. I can see all of them for whatever reason, but Canvas isn't going to show you that feedback anymore on that first submission. It's only going to show you the most recent submission. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about, oh, well, I want to make sure that I save that feedback for later. You may want to do something like screenshot it. So on the Dell, at least, there's a print screen button, PRT-SC, and that will allow you to take a screenshot of the comments. And so that might be a good technique if you're like, hey, I want to save that feedback for later, but I'm going to resubmit something. That'll circumvent that sort of quirk in the system.
And to that point, I did try to print it, but the parameters of the printer wasn't working out.
Yeah.
So how can you screenshot it? What was that again?
Yeah, so it depends on what you have. So right, which is obnoxious. So if you have a MacBook, I know you don't, Manny, but for anybody else, if you have a MacBook, you're gonna hit Command Shift and then the number 3 for the whole screen, 4 for only part of the screen. If you are doing something on like a Dell or something like that, there may be a specific combination of keys. On mine, it's just at the very top of the keyboard, there is a button. It's the F10 button, and it says PRT-SC. It says it's for print screen. Yours may not have that button.
Oh, I have a print screen button.
Perfect. Give it a try. Just give it a whack. Give it a second to think.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. It says,
yeah.
It says Adobe. Let's see. Continue. Full screen.
Yep. And so you can take a picture of the full screen, or you can click and drag to only part of the screen. So if you wanted to just do, you're like, oh, well, I just needed For example, I don't know if you can see it. I just need this right here. Can you see me taking a picture of my screen still?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you that's great. And so I was able to just take a picture of part of it, or you can take a picture of the whole thing and then you can always crop it down. If you're like, that was too much work, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna print the whole
Scissors.
screen. Exactly. I'm gonna scissor it on out. And again, so that can be a helpful tool for a number of things. Just a handy little shortcut there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So far we've talked through using our applications, getting things set up down here. It is nice for you to become familiar with the folder button. So this right here, if you download OneDrive as an actual application, then it should show up over here. And whenever you download OneDrive, it'll ask you, hey, what accounts do you want to add? And inside OneDrive, you can add additional accounts. And so that can be something that you can play around with. So I recommend familiarizing yourself with the file, the folder application. PowerPoint is going to be something that, again, we're not going to talk about in this workshop, but it's just good to be familiar with and to play around with. Microsoft Word is, of course, the other big one that most people end up using. I have Microsoft Outlook, which is the email application. And of course, you can certainly do, you can access, again, Word from Outlook, but you can also just have it as the desktop. So we've talked about using our applications. We talked about going into Canvas and exploring the different ways to view assignments. And then we talked about how do you actually submit information into Canvas through discussion forums, through just text box, and through attaching files. Primarily, it's going to be Word documents, but occasionally it might be a video or something else. In that case, we advise to go through Canvas Studio. We did a little bit of playing around with Microsoft Word, some tips and tricks with Microsoft Word. And that's sort of where we've landed at this point. Manny, any questions before I showcase where our additional resources are?
No, I'm good so far.
He's rocking and rolling. So if you enjoyed this workshop, we found this workshop, you're like, where is there more? We have additional resources for you. So if you go to LBC's homepage, lbc.edu, and you go to the library page.
Have that on.
He's like, I got a shortcut for that too.
Yeah.
Over here on the left-hand side, we have research guides under the Find menu. And I'm going to click on Academic Services. Now from this screen, I'm actually going to show you two different research guides. The first one is the Ally Center link. It's the second option down. I am going to open it in a new tab so that I can get back to this page. And from this page, we have, first of all, the big, beautiful button. Just click here to schedule an appointment. So you can have a one-on-one visit with one of our Writing Center, Ally Center tutors. I do work at the Ally Center as well as being an adjunct professor here at LBC. And so you can certainly schedule with me or one of our other expert teammates. I love my team. It's a great team. So you can schedule with any of us. We're happy to help you out. We have our upcoming workshops all listed here. And so you can see what we have coming up for January, February, and March. We usually have about 3 months displayed at a time, and sometimes we'll just leave out the previous month or two so you can see what we've done in the past as well. From this page, you can also, on the left-hand side, click on Ally Center Study Groups. And this shows you which study groups we have available. We have 2 LAN study groups. One is LAN 100, that's with me. LAN 101 is with Professor Hannah Kahn. And then our FAS study group is with Miss Kristen Sloan. And so those are our study groups. And those times you can click on those links to register. Now, if you're looking to see either what additional resources we have and or what our previous workshops were, you're going to click on the bottom one, Introduction to Academic Reading and Writing. And from this page, first of all of these things, all of these tabs are all resources. Some of them are videos, some of them have PDFs, some of them just have some blah, blah, blah paragraphs, lots of resources, many, many resources. However, what I want to draw our attention to is toward the right-hand side here, we have resource videos as the sub-menu option. And from here, clicking on any of these links will take us to the YouTube page. And so if you're like, well, how do I find LBC's Ally Center on YouTube? All of our previous workshops that we've published are listed here. And so I can click on, let's eat Bob. Let's eat Bob. Punctuation saves lives. And it'll take you directly to our Ally Center. Waiting for it. There we go. I was like, I knew it was going to start playing. So there we go. And you can always then just click on Ally Center LBC, and it'll take you to that same page that we accessed before, which has all of our videos sort of displayed in a very picturesque way. The same information is over here as well. It's just, this is the direct YouTube page. And that's where you can go to find our previous workshops. Definitely encourage you, if there's anything that you feel like you'd like additional information on, like thesis construction or recording a presentation, we have those resources available for you. Any other questions before we finish up our workshop today?
Oh, you've been awesome. Awesome sauce.
Stop. With cheese. Anyway, Manny, thanks so much for joining us. Anybody who's watching later, thanks for joining us later. We hope you have a fabulous rest of your evening and come see us again at the Ally Center soon.